The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. The apostles gathered together with Jesus and reported all that they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest for a while." People were going and coming in great numbers, and they had no opportunity even to eat. So they went off in a boat by themselves to a deserted place. People saw them leaving, and many came to know about it. They hastened to there on foot from the towns and arrived at the place before them. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, for they were like sheep without a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. This is the good news of our salvation. The story of Jesus' mission and life in the Gospel of St. Mark is organized, and we cannot just take one passage without relating it to previous passages. In the mind of St. Mark, he wants us to see the whole picture. And what we have here is the return after the practice teaching that was found in the Gospel, where Jesus sent out his disciples 2 by 2 to drive out demons and to cure the sick, laying their hands on and anointing them with oil, in imitation of Jesus' power to heal, to make a new creation. And we must remember that in the time of Jesus, we didn't have pharmacies, clinics, hospitals, homes for the aged, all sorts of social helps in this world that is afflicted by sickness and accidents and violence. People had to fend for themselves or go to the ones who were reputed to be faith healers. And so when Jesus sent out his disciples 2 by 2, they obviously were welcome, not only because of what they were saying, but because of what they were doing. So after a period, and St. Mark doesn't tell us how long, they return to Jesus, and they are enthusiastic in telling him what they had experienced. But Jesus knew, not only from their apostolic endeavors, but from the lifestyle that he was living himself in his headquarters at Capernaum, that they needed rest. And this again is an important point for us to reflect upon, to ponder. Jesus is human, and he treated his disciples with care and sensitivity. It's time for a break, time for a rest, time to enjoy ourselves without being overburdened. So let's have an excursion. We'll get into a boat and go to a place where we would not be bothered by all these people who are desperate to listen to us, but especially to be healed by us. And then the big surprise was when they arrived at this deserted place, they found the crowd was there. They had heard about Jesus, and they were desperate to be helped by him, to be healed by him, to be supported by him. He was becoming famous. But what is interesting to see in this episode as presented by St. Mark, Jesus has his plan to give a vacation, a break to his disciples. But his heart is more concerned by the people who went out of their way to come to him. He pitied them. They were like sheep without a shepherd. In the Gospel of St. John, in the 10th chapter, Jesus says, "I am the good shepherd. I lay down my life for my sheep. I am not a hired man that runs away in danger, but I will stay with my sheep." St. Mark is basically inspired by that same image. Someone who is leading out of love, committed. And that was the image of the shepherd, both in the Old Testament and in the New. And it also applies to us. We too need to take our breaks and rest in order that we might be rejuvenated, revitalized, to continue our ministry, our apostolate, our process of evangelizing. But at the same time, we must have our sensitivity and openness to the needs of others, especially when they come needing our help in a very emergency, a very great emergency. We must look upon their good even more than our own.